Hey guys, so I want to make my Twilight movie vlog video, and I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I loved it. I actually went to the midnight premiere, and then I went again yesterday. So I went twice within 24 hours. I really liked it. I am very much one of those people who can read a book and then go see a movie, and even though it doesn't match or it's different, it doesn't really bother me. I don't know why. So I mean, I had huge expectations for this movie, and I was not disappointed. I mean, the movie like met every single expectation, and even things that I was kind of iffy about, I ended up really liking in the movie. So I'm just so excited. My favorite scene, which is weird because I don't even like baseball, was the baseball scene. And I want to be a vampire so that I can play vampire baseball. I don't even like sports. I don't even like baseball, but that's like, I was like, oh my god, I love this. And then they played the super massive black hole song in the thing, in the scene, and I just thought that was like so perfect, and I don't know, I loved it. I thought they did really great job with all the characters that they picked. I know some people aren't as thrilled with whoever, but I thought that all of the characters, they fit. I mean, they're different than how I pictured them when I was reading the books, but you know, most things usually are different from how I picture them in the, you know, when I'm reading something. So that was okay with me. I've read a couple blogs, and I also watched the videos from the other Olo girls, and I kind of wanted to just talk for a second about now, okay, obviously when I love something, I will read into it as much as possible. So like anything that I can find to like defend why I love something that I love, like I'll dredge it up. So this is me once again reading like way too much into something. I've read a lot that people didn't like how Jasper was played, and and that Rob maybe overacted a little bit. Now, here's what I think. Most of most of us have read the books, and we've read, a lot of us have read Midnight Sun. A lot of us have read you know, the FAQs on the Stephanie Meyer's website. A lot of us have been watching interviews with the, you know, the cast for months now, and so we've got maybe a little bit of a better idea of what's going on inside of the characters' minds, but not everyone that'll go see this movie has read the book. And I don't even know. Okay, like if you haven't read Midnight Sun, then stop watching. Because Rob played Edward off of Midnight Sun, which is different than Twilight, right? Because it's all Edward's perspective. And in Twilight, we only like the biology room scene when Bella first walks in. Even in the theater, like people were like giggling because of how he reacted. But I mean, it had to be, I don't know how he could have played it any differently, because it had to be a really strong physical reaction, because even in the book, other kids in the biology class noticed. They were like, oh my god, what did you do to Edward Cullen, you know? And Bella was like, what do you mean? I didn't notice anything. So it had to be something that other people would notice. And then when you read Midnight Sun, you know that Edward is going through all of these scenarios in his head. I mean, like, he literally is on the verge of jumping off of his seat and killing her right in front of all of these kids and the teacher, and he's going through, you know, like calculating out, can I silence everyone in the room before other classrooms hear screaming and, you know, kind of become aware that something is going on? Like, can I do that? And so I feel like I think he played it really well, and it had to be that, you know, something that we could see. And I feel the same way about Jasper. Now, in Midnight Sun, we also know that Edward can see his thoughts, and he can see that so many times he's, you know, like picturing killing these kids because he's so thirsty, because he's their newest vegetarian. Now, a lot of us know, you know, that that he is a vegetarian, their newest vegetarian, and we know what that entails. But, and then this goes also for, like, people were kind of shaky about the scene in the car and, like, why Edward always kind of looked like he was about to cry or, like, in pain or something. Well, you know, I mean, we know from reading the books that being around humans is physically painful for these vampires. Like, a lot of them have gotten used to it, but for someone like Jasper who's just new to this whole lifestyle of not killing people to drink their blood, I mean, the feeling, you know, in the books it's described as, you know, like fire going down your throat. So they're in pain all the time. And I just, in the books, because, you know, we know later, it starts making sense, and maybe they're not so showy with their emotions in the book, but in the movie they kind of have to be, because or else how else are we going to know, you know, that it's so uncomfortable for him to be around all of these humans. I mean, he just wants to kill everyone and start drinking their blood. He's like not in as much control as the other ones. And the longer you go without drinking human blood, the easier it gets. It's not ever, you don't ever forget about, you know, the feeling, but it gets a little bit more bearable, I guess. And I mean, like the scene in the car, I felt like Rob played really well, because he always kind of looked like he was on the verge of tears, or like, you know, in pain. And it's because, you know, in the car, Bella's scent is even stronger because they're in that tiny little space. So, I mean, you know, I feel like maybe it was a little dramatic, but I feel like in a movie it had to be, because they're having to, you know, without having like a voiceover or something like that, they have to portray, you know, that they're in pain and they're uncomfortable, and they're, you know, like Edward, he's constantly on the verge of like, am I going to kill her, or do I love her enough to be able to not kill her? Like, he never really knows. So that's just kind of like the main thing that I wanted to talk about. And, you know, like I said, I really, really loved how everyone played the characters. That even, you know, the characters who didn't play, you know, big parts, but the kids who played Bella's friends, I thought they were hilarious. I thought they did an amazing job. You know, I felt like they were real high school kids. I love Rob Pattinson. He's so cute. I think he did an amazing job. I really, really loved how the movie ended. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to talk about it. I heard a lot of people, like, when we were filing out of the theater both times, kind of mixed reviews. Like, you know, some people were like, well, that didn't happen in the book, and some people were, I think most of the things I heard were like, that was a stupid way to end it. I really loved it, and, yeah. Oh, you know what I was going to say? I kind of wish, this just occurred to me a little while ago, like after I saw the movie. I kind of wish that they would have left the Linkin Park song. I think it's called Leave It All Behind. I kind of wish that they would have left that for the New Moon soundtrack, because I feel like it fits there better. But for whatever reason they didn't, so that's okay. It's a great song. I love it. What else do I want to say? That's it. I loved it, and I hope that if you guys haven't seen it yet, I hope you guys loved it as much as I do, because, I mean, I would not be opposed to going to see it again in theaters a few more times, and then I'll for sure be buying the DVD when it comes out. So, I loved it, and I love Rob Pattinson. Alright, bye guys. That during the movie, I noticed that Rob Pattinson has these two little, like, birthmarks on his neck. It kind of looks like fang marks. That's when you know that you're paying too much attention to Rob.